I'm Sybil.
And I'm Dad.
Today we've got our special Billy the Burger who's come to, just see how we run things around here.
Yeah, some quality assurance. We're back after a week off, and after the week off there's been some assertions of unprofessionalism, and so Billy the Burger is here to just oversee, refreshed after our week off. And in today's episode we're going to be talking about The Woman Dies.
It's quite good.
This is a collection of short stories by Japanese author Ayako Matsuda, and our translation here is by Polly Barton. So we're going to look at two of these. The description of these is Feminist Tales from Japan by the acclaimed author of Where the Wild Ladies Are. So I'll read you the blurb, and I would genuinely recommend you going and finding a copy of this. Piercing, inventive and darkly humorous, the 52 stories in Ayako Matsuda's
52?
The Woman... 52?
I guess they're only 2 pages.
Yeah, quite short.
Something like that.
Explore the persistent and pervasive sexism faced by women in modern day Japan.
All around the world, really.
All around the world, but yes, I suppose Ayako Matsuda is giving her specific viewpoint as a Japanese woman. So interestingly, we're just post meal, and in said meal, my wife and I tried to have a conversation about misogyny in the manosphere and looks maxing, and it was met with some no, not even eye rolling. That would be unfair on you. Just giggles from you and your brother.
It wasn't because of
No,
what
I know
you were
it wasn't
talking
because
about.
of it. You just made each other giggle because you didn't want to listen to me talk, I think.
No, we did. We just, he started looking at me, and then I laughed, and then he laughed.
Yeah. So I think we've taken the first 2 stories here, and I think that they are both quite nice jumping off points to kind of consider the role of men in the subjugation of women, and the especially the first one, and the part that we should be playing to support women. That was a poorly constructed sentence. I might edit that out and make myself sound cleverer. Or I might not.
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really... let's just say Billy the Burger is very intimidating.
Yes.
With that smile.
Well, I tell you what, maybe I'll become...
He never blinks.
No, he has the inability to blink because he doesn't have eyelids. Billy the Burger is a plush burger.
Not to me.
That Sybil found in TK Maxx today.
Only for £8.
Oh yeah, a steal at £8.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe I'll talk with a bit more sense if we just talk about the first story. So the first story is the android whose name was Boy. So Sybil,
why was he just called Boy?
I think we'll get into that, but I think that's the point.
Drink.
Sybil, can you just give us a brief overview of what happens in the android whose name was Boy?
So basically, so this boy, he's like the main character. Or he just gives off main character vibes?
I mean, he is the main character, yes.
Yeah, he is.
I think that's fair to say.
He goes to this village. So he asks this old woman and his husband, can I come in? And they say, sure. And then when he comes in, say, what's your name? And he said, Boy. And then they get very sad and say he needs to leave because all the other men that have been before him have gone there and then left the next morning.
Yeah.
To set out on some heroic duty.
Yeah, so if you think of stories of traveller sets off, meets kindly person who supports and helps them, and that could be an old couple or just anybody really, and then goes off into their feats of daring do and leaves these people behind, and in the story we would never hear of them before. So after he stays with the old couple, what happens at that point?
I think he stays with them for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Does he leave at some point?
Yes, he stays with them until they say,
you can leave now.
We trust you. Okay, you've helped cure us of our kind of separation anxiety, and we feel better about boys in general, and the android whose name is Boy goes,
I mean, really, you shouldn't think of that for all men. I mean, that's a bit harsh on them, isn't it?
I don't know. I think we're in dangerous territory if we say things like "not all men." It sort of defeats.
It's not all.
Well, yes, but saying "not all men" defeats the object of the conversation. If you say "not all men,"
I mean, like in stories.
Yes, yeah. But this story is representative of something bigger. After he has proven his sincerity, which is what the old couple take as their kind of cue to say, "You've healed us. We are trusting. We feel love again." Boy continues on. He comes to a war-torn village. He sat down beside a young girl and start to speak, and she goes stop and explains that every other boy in this situation has had the kind of plot armor of the protagonist, and everybody around them dies while they are doing heroic things or suffers and
because like someone else could do something like small but like really helpful, and then they never get noticed.
And that's what Boy
just die.
Yeah, that's what Boy does. He just it says it didn't act recklessly or come up with any far-flung ideas. It engaged efficiently in combat, avoided heroic deeds, and left the dying to die. Still, nobody lost their lives owing to Boy's actions. It didn't cause anybody any trouble and wasn't saved by anyone either. It didn't act big, and neither did it act small.
Well, if someone's dying, then you should try to do something.
Yes. I like the idea that at the end, it didn't cause anybody any trouble and wasn't saved by anyone. It didn't act big, neither did it act small. And if you think of the ways that often men exert control on those around them, that could be through the acting big. If you think
kind of pinching his internal organs, if you think about it. No, nothing. Carry on.
Yes, no, we should probably contextualise that though, because that's a slightly troubling thing to hear as a podcast listener. Sybil was pinching the cheese at the edge of the plush burger, and so that's why she told you that it was like she was pinching somebody's internal organs. It's not
a bit weird.
Yes, it is a bit weird. You're correct. That's a weird thing for somebody to say, especially when we're having a wonderful.
I forgot.
Well, wonderful and deep. You forgot we were recording.
Kind of.
Goodness forbidness.
I mean, that's why I'm barely talking.
I shall shut up a little bit. Well, I see. It's quite ironic that in a sort of when we're talking about two bits of feminist literature that I'm mansplaining everything to you.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it is. But I'm happy for you to talk more. Shut me up by all means. So then it says, today again, Boy is walking. The android whose name is Boy, developed to heal the wounds of those hurt by boys in the past, is on the move once more.
Yeah, that's fine, but when you say act big, it's fine to act big, but just don't just be humble about it.
Well, I guess what does acting big sound like to you? What does that look like to you for somebody acting big?
I mean, I like doing something nice and that people take and that people know and recognise. But also if you're acting big and it's just draw attention to yourself and make everyone see you as some sort of great person and role model.
Yeah.
Then maybe acting big is good if you just do it from the kindness of your heart.
Very true.
It's not as good if you do it just for attention.
Absolutely. I think the acting small one's quite interesting as well. So not making yourself a victim to make people look after you, which I think sometimes...
sometimes in groups. I don't always act the biggest.
No, but I think, acting small is not about a lack of confidence. I think it's about portraying yourself as less able than you are, in the sense of being I need somebody to do all of these things for me because I'm not able to do it, which once again feels like...
Sometimes I'm lazy. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Once again, I feel like it's being lazy occasionally is maybe different to that. this is maybe like you take yourself through life and you partly expect people to do things for you, you feel entitled, but also you allow people to do things for you because you are inept. I think I need to call the police for this poor plushie that you're now poking at its eyes. Or maybe I just need to take the plushie away.
No!
Maybe the plushie needs to leave our recording booth.
No, he needs... Wait, booth?
Yeah. The listeners can use their imaginations, can't they?
Yeah, I guess. He'll stay now, and I won't poke his eyes. Right, carry on.
Lovely. So yeah, I do like the message there that I remember when I was working at a previous school and a group of female... Oh, well, I can't say it out loud on the podcast, can I? Because that would rather dox the school that I worked at and also potentially dox myself. And a group of female students at the school described me as an ally to another teacher, and I was like, oh, I feel proud there. But then, actually, on reflection, I think some men just lay back on the idea of being an ally to somebody, being an ally to the LGBT community. An ally is like somebody who is vocally supportive of a particular group. Huh. But sometimes
I'm supportive for the thing, of the charity thing.
Yes.
Yes.
But sometimes allyship needs to be more than just saying the right thing. And I think that story takes that quite well, that actually just
saying something isn't enough. Doing something is better.
And I think, whether that's men having the ability to call other men out, which we definitely don't do enough in terms of...
Are you all like snitching your mates?
No, I hate the word snitching. As a teacher and as a human, snitching is if somebody is doing something wrong, you need to call them out. It's about having integrity. Don't roll your eyes at me like you're anything other than a very incredibly well-behaved
I just don't
student.
Snitch on anyone. I mean, not snitch.
But if somebody does something wrong, what should we do?
Then I probably won't see it.
Yeah.
Because I usually just stick with my friend group.
But it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to find the courage to kind of step up to somebody and go, actually, what you did was wrong. And I think that often you can get comments that would definitely class as misogynistic, and they're not called out as they should be. I
mean, like, if someone's saying like something like misogynistic or like sexist or racist, then I'll definitely tell.
Yeah, and that's good, and that's what we should aim to do more. Our next.
I like this one.
Our next story, yes, I like this one too.
Can I just grab this?
Yes, of course. I'll give it a bit of context though. So, this one's called Bond.
James Bond.
So I had to explain the concept of James Bond to Sybil
because I've never watched.
Not seen any of the films, and as
I wanna.
I was always aware of the fact that they're not films that have aged particularly well in terms of their depictions of women, people of cultures that are not sort of Anglo-American. English and American. Like, basically, if you're not like a white Western European or North American person, often the portrayals of those people in James Bond films are quite stereotypical. And I think there's definitely an argument for films from a bygone era, or TV from a bygone era, or comedy, and lots of people will try and argue that, oh, well, it was fine at the time, so, you can't really judge it by today's standards. But then I think...
But the standard should have just stayed like that throughout history.
Oh, yeah, we should have always had better standards. We should continue to have better standards than we do. Right, so I guess...
I think the standards are fine today.
They're better, would say. I don't think they were...
I mean, from what I see.
I don't think that... And that is promising to me as a parent, that you feel that you have some, like, relative empowerment. So, with that little bit of context, could you tell us about the story of Bond?
Okay, so Bond, basically all these women that have been in James Bond movies meet up into one room, and they'd like describe how their experience with James Bond was. And then they all realise that they are better than this, and that James Bond was like really like mean to them.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, Bond's attitude towards women is just objectification, and the way that they're filmed in the films is objectification. It's all about the body. It's not about the character. It's not about the personality. It's absolutely framed in that way. So I think I found this quite a fun concept of them all getting together to talk about him. Although,
yeah, but wouldn't they be different ages? Like much.
Yes, I guess we're like stepping into a world where all of the Bond. Well, but if you think Bond as a character, in theory, even though the film's have been going on for 50 plus years, he as a character ages like a normal person. So actually, all of these women would be sort of around the same age-ish. The Bond character doesn't change. He's meant to be the same person. The actor who plays them changed. A bit like Doctor Who. The actors have changed, but
it's a bit scary at times.
No, this is more misogynistic than Doctor Who.
I know.
I say this as having not watched some of the early Doctor Who, so I don't know if that's all about.
I mean, I just don't like the recent ones because they freak me out.
So there's still the focus on physical appearance here, but there is much more of giving people a more of a voice. And I just enjoyed the concept of this. I think it was an interesting way of calling out the idea that a man who is romantically involved with lots of women doesn't have the same sort of calling out that,
and he doesn't really and when he breaks up with one, then he just never cares about that person. Never notices how they feel afterwards.
Most James Bond films end up having two female characters, and he is romantically involved with the first female character for a very short amount of time in the movie, and then there will be somebody who is more of a traditional love interest. And so he will be romantically involved with two women in the course of the film, and the first one will be more of a very brief thing. And it was, because that was meant to show him as being the ultimate man, that he could romanticize all of these women, basically. And the women,
disgusting.
Yeah, he's a pretty gross dude. Yeah. No, they are. These are pretty gross dude. Even in the modern ones, I think Daniel Craig.
Who's Daniel Craig?
Benoit Blanc.
Oh.
He's Benoit Blanc. He's he's the most recent James Bond.
Oh wait, the legend Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc.
The actor for it is now playing James Bond.
Before he played Benoit Blanc. Quite a while before. But the modern Bond films, the Daniel Craig ones,
are they better?
They're better. Look, I would say all cinema has some level of objectification of women. If you think about all the films we watch, the focus on women's bodies is definitely still there.
I mean, from the bit we've watched with we were watching Hunger Games too, but I don't think I noticed any.
Yeah, I know. Look,
in those movies.
However,
not as much.
I will say that. So we did watch the second Hunger Games film.
I mean, a bit.
The first half of it. But if you think the scene in the elevator with that Joanna woman who gets naked in front of the three of them, what is that scene for if not to highlight the fact that she's an attractive woman? At that point, why does she? In that moment, what's the point of her being in that scene? It serves nothing other than to excite men in the audience.
No, and just gross out girls.
Yeah, but once again, I think this is the other side of that. Yes, there's still loads of objectification, and that sends a bad message to young men. But it's also really undermining to the confidence of young women in terms of, if you don't look like this, if you don't act like this, you are somehow outside of the norm.
Yeah, because women are allowed to be introverts too.
Yeah. Yes. So
because we don't have to be like outgoing or whatever.
Absolutely not. But yeah, I think we'll definitely read. In fact, I've cracked through a few more of these, and we might, as we go through the rest of the story, we might do another episode with a couple of these. We'll see. We'll come up with some good ones, because I think they've prompted some interesting conversations, and they are brilliantly written. And I would sort of also shout out the translation by Polly Barton, which I think it's not to be underestimated.
I mean, to like translate a whole book.
But also, if you think about the amount of like weird idioms that different languages have,
Yeah.
that if you were to translate them directly,
Oh yeah, like what was the Romanian thing that you were talking about earlier?
something that I sort of had in my head that was about grandma and a machine gun, but I don't think I'm remembering different parts of something.
And Girl in Real Life book, Danish, says
Yes.
We shot the parrot.
You shot the parrot.
I mean, that's what it translates into English.
Yeah, and something about spinach.
He stepped in the spinach.
You stepped in the spinach. So all of these strange idioms, and being able to take Matsuda's work and then to put it into something that it, like, when you don't notice the fact that you're reading in translation, which seems very obvious, that's obviously it's a really impressive thing to be able to do. And yes, so Polly Barton's translation, excellent. Matsuda's stories, excellent as well. The cover art.
Yeah, I love it.
The cover art for our edition.
Cool.
Our edition is the Europa edition. And well, if we do this again, I'll find out who did the cover art. But it's wonderful. So I guess that's what we'll have to do another episode now, because I need to find out who drew that. I will put an image up in the episode now. Do it now.
Probably.
Maybe I will. No, I'm going to edit this tonight, so I will almost.
Oh, yeah.
I will almost definitely remember. I also listen to these as I edit them, don't I? So.
And also, you will put Billy, the burger inspector. I mean, not the burger inspector.
Yeah.
But the inspector that is a burger.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. If he has to write up a report about this episode, is he going to mainly focus on the fact that you were like pulling at his cheese and poking him in the eyes?
I think we're on good terms now. I mean...
Interesting.
I don't know.
Okay, so you are partway through Rose House, but that book is currently at school because you came home early the other day. So, but you are... Yes, I know, but sometimes...
It's boring and I can't get through it.
Yes, but you will get through it because it's quite short. And then you get the next pick, don't you?
Yeah.
So I think Rose House, which we'll hopefully talk about next week by Arcadium 18, is superb, and I will enjoy talking about it, even if Sybil...
You know that book that she got me, The Hate You Give?
Oh, yeah, we could absolutely do that.
I've already read a bit of it. Because it's quite a big book, and it's got some.
Yes. So bit of sizzle. Can you remember who it's by? I mean, we're not doing it next week anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, Sybil recently received The Hate You Give by insert name of author another time. So that might be Sybil's pick for the week after, but we'll see. So we will see you in next week's episode. Goodbye.
Bye. Boy.